All right. Welcome to Freedom from the Night Tales of the Supernatural. Today, I wanted to talk about being in witchcraft. Being in witchcraft, a lot of us don't know that we are in it now. We are in the state of being in witchcraft. A lot of us are unaware of it, but this is where we are. And it's because of the sparing of the rod. It's because of the sparing of the rod. A lot of us are in witchcraft and we are in the effects of it. So I would like to just speak a little on the topic about what I know about witchcraft, just a little bit, um, and expand as time goes on. But as of right now, I just wanted to speak about it for just a little moment, what I know about the topic. But anyway, let's to get it going. Um, I just want to be quick. Hopefully, I don't be too long. Anyway, so being in witchcraft, and I got it wrote down here. Uh, what I want to say. Being in witchcraft is when others intentionally become something that they are not, to feed off of other people. And in the spiritual world, they can become anything they want to be in order to feed. Yes, they can become anything that they want to be in order to feed. For example, um, I had a dream where I saw uh, I saw birds in the backyard, and they lured a cat into their little secret hiding place, and they fed off of the bird. I mean, they fed off the cat, and it wasn't until a human, someone that was the child of God, said and made it aware that that cat is being eaten off of by the birds. That's when the cat realized that he was about to be eaten and that he was being eaten. Other than that, he fell into the trap of witchcraft. Um, but he did make it free, being that human who was of God spoke out and wasn't ashamed, wasn't fearful, but spoke out with the power of God, and that cat ran free up on his own, on his own. And it's so many people that are not aware. They're not awake, and they're not being themselves as well. They're not being themselves as well. And why is this happening, you ask? Why is this happening? Because of the disobedience it is in the world. It's because of the disobedience in the world. And it is through disobedience of something whatever it is that you are sinning in, anything, go check the commandments of God and know what it is that you're sinning in, and you'll learn what that is. But it is being in disobedience of God and obedience. Let's say, in obedience to the law. And the more and more you're obedient to the law, the more and more the problems will keep coming. They will have the authority over you to create things that's not of God. And those things will form over you and corrupt you and cause you to do things that are not of God. And that's because of the sparing of the rod. As we know, Moses um, demonstrated to us how, my stuff stopped. Moses demonstrated to us when God told him to stretch out that stick. And he stretched out the stick. Once he stretched out the stick, Moses demonstrated the power of God through nothing, and he demonstrated that the witchcraft. Okay, and how he did that is by stretching out the stick. He stretched out the stick, and what did it turn into? It turned into a snake, right? The snake was the witchcraft. And then the father told him, because he almost got afraid, but God told him to stretch it back out again, and he stretched it out instantly. He obeyed what God told him to do. So he stretched it back out immediately, quickly, which is what we all to do, is to move quickly before witchcraft take over. Because you're repeatedly taking steps, perfect steps, so that you can remain in obedience of God. But anyway, the stick turned into a serpent, and the serpent is the witchcraft. Okay, that's the witchcraft. And then God told him to turn it back, to stick to what I say, to put back out the stick again, and he did it immediately, quickly, in obedience, and it turned back into just a regular stick, nothing. And through that stick is when the power of God came through. That's the power of God. That through that is what the power of God came through. That nothingness stick. That is the rod. That's the rod, which is God's power operating through that. That's the rod. You got shown the rod, and you got shown the witchcraft through the serpent. Because what the serpent does is he does, it's no power behind the serpent. Okay, all it does is bite you. It feeds off of you, and when it feeds off of you, it sends more snakes out, and those snakes poison you, and it goes into each and every body. It goes into your body, and you begin to operate out of that serpent, that witchcraft. That is form of witchcraft. So it's through this they can lead you in the law on how to feed off of someone else. Okay? They teach you through this law how to feed off of someone else, but you can't do this all of yourself. You have to become instead of overcome. You have to become. The law is always opposite of the power of God. Remember that. The law is always opposite of the power of God. The power of being that it's God itself. Okay, the power of God is God itself, and the law is always opposite of the power of God. And the laws and the power of God is God, and from God, and from God, and from God. Okay, the power of God is God, and it's from God. Oh no. Oh, I'm gonna end this broadcast because I don't know if it's actually going through, and then my stuff stopped. So I don't know. I'm gonna stop. So there it is. And I'm already over 12 minutes in my, oh gosh. Okay, so forget about it. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna redo this again. I'm gonna have to come back. To be continued.